Hello, this is Blaire Stanislao with the Happy Lion Center. Welcome to our podcast, Mystical and Infamous, where we have playful and easy conversations about anything mystical, getting to the heart of all things strange and weird. Join us in a bit of magical tomfoolery, spreading the alchemy of love and light. And now, we invite you to enjoy the show. Today we're talking about the creation story behind the Consortium of Ease project, which involves the book Silver Threads of Truth, which is coming out, I'm thinking, in 2025. And then prior to that would be the meditation group that we have had for the last, 3 years? Yeah, 2.5 years, called Elevate Me Now. So I'm here with Janele Peck, and she and I started a group called Elevate Me Now with the intention. Actually, I'm going to let you just tell the beginning of the story because you always have a good example of that. Tell them how we met first. That would help.
Well, I've been on a spiritual path forever, and it culminated in where I discovered I was doing light language and receiving messages. And I heard loud and clear once upon a time, it's time. And I said, great. For what? And I was led, they'll know. He said, you will know what to do and the next step. So I did know. I called Blaire in our town that I live in, who does QHHT sessions. And I booked one, and we just hit it off from minute one. And I went home a couple of days later. Sure enough, I had the strong inclination to contact her again and divulge that I do light language and get messages. We met, and again, it was a great meeting, and I told her about the light language, and I need to do something. I was told to share this with people now. And she said, great. I've been looking for someone to start a meditation group. And that's how Elevate Me Now was born. We started meeting, and I was just developed into what we do at each meeting. We eat twice a week. And again, I get messages before the meditation, which is wonderful because everybody seems to resonate with the message, no matter what it is. And that's how we went on to further develop what we do. And then she got a personal message in a enlightenment thing that says, do something like a Consortium of Ease.
Oh, okay. So let me go back. So you came in for a hypnosis. You contacted me a couple of days later, and you also said, it's time. And I said, okay, for what? And then you elaborated, and I was like, good, I've been waiting, right? Like I've been trying to, energetically, I've already been prepared to do all of this. So I knew that I wanted to create a group where we implemented the practices that help you to connect with yourself. Okay. So, and from that, what I mean by that is really, you can talk until you're blue in the face and say, oh, you should meditate. Okay. That's not the same thing as doing it. Right?
Exactly. We didn't want to be, we both were on the same page with this concept. We didn't want to be a share in the concepts group. We wanted to be a group that actually does the work, that actually meditates together. Yeah. And that comes out where you actually form a collective of a higher vibration when you meditate together.
Yeah. Okay. So
augments it.
So we decided we were going to meet. I think my response was actually, okay, wind.
Yeah.
Okay. So I reached out to a couple of people. It wound up actually just being 3 of us who connected, or maybe it was just 2 of us at first.
It was 2 of us for a couple of sessions.
And then somebody else joined us. And so gradually it just grew, but we just basically made the commitment to do it together. So there's a couple of factors going on there where you've got, you're committing to yourself to do this thing. But because you're doing it with other people, you've got that outside kind of like accountability thing, like, okay, I'm going to be there. Are you going to be there? That is another level that goes to it. But what was really amazing to me and really, I don't know, the word advancing is coming up to me now, is one of the first couple of times, several of the first couple of times that we did this, we decided to kind of get in the zone and kind of explore together. like as we are there, just see what comes up. And that experience of us doing this together really explained a lot that I didn't know that I didn't know, in terms of me receiving information. I knew I received information, but I didn't know how. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to articulate it. So being in the group helped me, first off, to acknowledge that it was there. So there was one point at which Jen, you and I were meeting and we were doing this exploration, like, okay, we're going to set the intention and we're going to go in the zone and we're going to just see what's there.
What it is it's connecting on the collective consciousness.
Yeah.
And you didn't know that that helps you individually to tap in. But it also, once you experience it, it opens you up to your own experiences plus the collective consciousness, and you really realize that you are communicating all the time on another level.
Yes. Well, I had known that prior, but not in this way. Like I had been part of group healings, and I had experience where somebody was giving a group healing, and the messages that came through that person's healing, if they were verbal, right, or verbalized, was applicable to everybody, but on a different level. So I had experienced that. Okay. But I had not experienced kind of going into it open together. And it's exactly what you said. Yes, it helps you individually, but then it really helps you understand how are you connected to the collective and how does that amplify everything. So that's sort of where we started, right? That was the Elevate Me Now. And we just started doing it, just commitment to ourselves. And so
we winged it till we got
yeah,
it
we
right.
did. So then over time we had more people join us. And eventually, which I would say in the last year, it's been even stronger, I guess, stronger messages maybe, or
The messages, as you aptly put it a while back, took a shift. And I noticed that too, but we had not discussed it.
right.
And then when you said it, I went, oh, well, that's exactly what I was thinking. It took a more serious, down and dirty shift of really getting to know yourself and really getting to connect with that.
Right. So I think the messages started out as important messages that were really helpful in virtually all situations. And they stayed there for a while. And we would get messages that, oh, you guys are doing better, and we would get confirmations and all that sort of thing. But then I think it was like May or June of this year, they made that shift. Again, we didn't talk about it, but we noticed the shift. And I think you and I had known long before. I don't know if you did. I think you did. We knew that it was going to become a book, but we hadn't done anything about it.
You don't remember? Right off the bat, not too many meetings into it. I said, maybe we should do a book. You want to do a book?
Oh yes, I forgot.
and then we decided, well, maybe not quite yet.
Yes. Okay. So right. So of course I want to do that, but recently, just this year, really was like, okay, now it's time to do the book. And then it wasn't, for me, it wasn't just that the messages have shifted. It was like, wow, look at these messages. That's got to be written.
Powerful.
Yes.
Powerful. In fact, that's got to be in the book.
Yes.
Oh, that one's got to be in the book.
Yeah. So that's what came up. And I don't remember exactly when, but our group had asked several times over. The messages were so good that they were like, you got to put these in writing. We need to have these available all the time. So we started to create a deck of cards. So I've done we
shorten the messages to one-liners.
Yes, to be able to put them on like an oracle card. Right. Okay. So I had done that for a live event that we were going to and made some temporary cards, and they are for sale. But we haven't printed them yet. So these would be pre-sale purchases or pre-launch purchases. But that's just because we're trying to manage finances, right? We're just trying to get the money to pay for the cards before we pay for the cards to be printed. So we did that where we shortened the messages, put them even less words, just as potent into the cards. And then the situation with the very loud messages about put this in a book, exactly as it is, right? And life just happened to work out that we decided to start doing that. So as we started doing that over the summer this year, we got our sections organized, and we were referencing the messages and trying to figure out how to put them in a way that would make sense And as we were doing this, I was doing other types of healing and, whatever, all the stuff that I do. And so I got these major downloads. And one of those major downloads while I was sleeping was, oh, this is what you need to do. So we have people, honestly, in our group who, while they really benefit from the meditations, don't seem to, and frankly, I think on some level, all of us are guilty of this. So it's not like one particular person or anything like that. But if you're not taking the real meaning of the messages that come through and actually implementing them like thoroughly throughout your experience, thoroughly throughout your entire being and your aura, then you're not getting all the benefit from it that you can.
When we notice that people, wow, that was a really good message today. Yeah, I can really identify with that message. Yeah, this is great. And then the next time we meet, say, so I'm glad you liked the message. Yeah, what was that again? So we just, it is true that it's just like I said today.
Yeah, and I'm just
earlier.
as guilty.
Oh,
Yeah.
Indeed, because but you do get them. It's a higher, when you channel something, it's a higher vibration, and you do get it.
Yeah.
It's just perhaps on another level, and you don't really know that you're being affected by it positively, of course.
Yes.
But it's like reading a book again, or,
Yes.
or seeing a movie again. You kind of have to get it through the little brain. The thinking process, the intellect has to really chew on it for a while to really get it, even though, like I said, you're getting it on some level anyway.
Right.
But
exactly.
It to satisfy the mind.
I would say that the way I would describe it is when you're in those meditations and you receive the messages, when you're in meditation, you do get them on the higher level. It feels very similar to what I described at the beginning of our meeting, where, I knew I was getting messages and I knew I was getting information, but what to do with them?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. So the message that came through, which eventually turned into this Consortium of Ease project, was now it's time to help people take these messages and actually apply it. So I think it was 2011. It took me 5 years because I had 2 babies and my mother almost died. But it took me about 5 years to get through a master's in education. And when I get this degree that I didn't particularly love, I get the diploma and I'm like, okay, there's got to be some much bigger meaning for bigger usage of this
and now education.
And I knew it was coming. I just didn't know what it was. And now I know why. So all of my experience in teaching and also the degree and so forth in education is coming to, culmination, I guess is the word, where now we want to take these messages that are coming through on a higher level through the experiences of meditation and community, but let's put them into your life every day, have it infiltrate every part of your being. Well, how do you do that? Okay, well, I've got an education degree. I was raised by a teacher. I have a pretty good idea of how to do that. So that's what came through, that's the whole goal of the Consortium of Ease project. And it
becomes a whole experience. It's a running experience where you can incorporate it.
Well, that's why I call it a project. Okay. So now there was a little bit of critique about the name of it, which frankly, I got the name. It wasn't like I thought through the name. It was like, oh, it's this. Okay.
Well, at first blush, one would say, what is that?
Yes.
What is that?
Right. What is that?
But that may be good.
Yeah.
Because then when you have that kind of reaction, it's not like,
it's just another name of something. Yeah. So the reason I like that it's called a project is because it's something that we do together. Okay. It's also something that you put effort into, and it's not like, it's not meant to be, I watch the videos, check, I'm done. It's an experience, as you said, very similar to Elevate Me Now group, where it's not just, did you attend?
It's also individual.
Yes.
Because you can't, nobody can do it for you.
No.
You do it together, but you're having your own experience.
No, but the container that you create for yourself, and in this case, I'm creating a container that would allow for the most expansion, or what I feel like might be the most expansion for somebody. The container in which is something that can be done together. It's just like a classroom, like you're trying to instruct children new information. Well, they have to work with the information. They have to play with the information. They have to feel safe when they're getting this information. They have to essentially really integrate it in their life for them to really understand it. So that's the whole purpose behind the creation of the Consortium of Ease. Is I want my life to be easy. I want your lives to be easy. It can be easy if we really start to see these spiritual truths that help us to see that we are the ones that are really having the biggest impact on our lives.
Indeed.
And so I mean, it's been a while now, but for me, it's a new term because I haven't had the word for it, but you gave me the word. So the word is self-realization. Okay. So that's really where the program came from. Yes, it comes from the Elevate Me Now transmissions. It comes from the experience of doing that, but really it's a container, a structure within which you can go into and expand. And to what degree you do that is completely up to you. But the container is there. There has been a request for this from our group. And so I know that there's a request. And I know personally, because I would want this. I would want this thing myself. That's the whole purpose. I mean, if we're being honest, most people who have their own business create the business because they want it for themselves, right?
Indeed. Yeah.
Okay. So
same with healing.
Yeah. So that's why I want it to be easy for me. I want it to be easy for you, but I also want to have this level of commitment for myself to continue to expand. So that's the history behind the Consortium of Ease project. It does involve lessons. It does involve live trainings. It involves some digital products. So some activations.
There's so many aspects to it. Yeah. What you're saying, that it's just not one program. It's just not, here's the lesson and go learn it, or here's the lesson and go meditate on it.
We walk with you through that. That's the whole point, is we walk it together. And so the details are on the Consortium of Ease page, and I will put that with this podcast. But the details of what the program actually is will be on that page. There will be 2 versions of it. You've got at this point, we're calling a spiritual liberation package, which is like the basic package. And then if you want to go a little bit further, like if you want help healing, because as we go through this process, what we learn is there's a lot of subconscious patterns, which are basically based on belief structures that we created throughout our lives that usually get in the way of
created for us,
or whatever you want to call it. They're there. That's all we need to know. Okay. But to uncover what they are is not always the easiest thing to do. And I have a lot of experience in that because that was just something I wanted to do. So if you're interested in getting help with that portion of it to kind of uncover those truths and help to, in a sense, release them or let them dissipate, that's what the upgrade is. And at this point, we're calling this Purpose-Led Healers package. So there's 2 versions of it. You've got the basic package and then you've got the upgrade package. And it's all the details are there. Currently, it's a 12-month program. That may change.
What I feel about it is what I know about other programs or other ways it's out there to take. This one, I think, takes it to a new level. I feel that this one could really open up and expand oneself more than others I have seen.
Well, I think the reason behind that, and it's totally intentional, is that it is about the experience. It's not about check. Did I do these things? Did I pass the test? No, because regurgitating information is not knowing it, right?
Indeed.
So it is about the experience, just like the meditation. You can talk about meditation until you're blue in the face, but that's not the same thing as meditating. So the same thing here. We can talk about it and we will, but that's not the same thing as actually doing it. And so that's what the Consortium of Ease project is to create a container for you to choose to go into it and expand. And then you expand into ease, and a life of ease. You expand into self-realization. Thanks for listening to this episode of Mystical and Infamous podcast with the Happy Lion Center. Send requests for topic discussions, questions, and comments to podcast@happylioncenter.com. That's podcast@happylioncenter.com.